Whether you're playing in a tournament or you're just playing for fun, I bet you want to play well. So come on out on the court. Let's warm up. All right, I like to start my warm up with just a light jog, and if I've got a pickleball court to use, I'll use that. I'll even go all the way around the court if my opponents aren't out there yet. Just to loosen up a little bit, you're gonna have to run around. And yeah, if you want to hit the exercise bike or the skipping rope, that's a good idea too. After a little bit of forward running, I am going to start to mix things up a little bit. Pickleball, of course, you change directions. You're not always running straight ahead. So we should start to simulate that a little bit. I also want to keep this going, so I got a bit of a sweat going. So I might leave those sweats on a little bit longer. Try to keep that movement constant. Shuffle back and forth. And you'll see it's a pretty light shuffle, right? I'm not having much of an athletic look here, standing pretty upright. So then I say, okay, well, I gotta get that upper body going too. Haven't done a lot of things above my head during the day, so better warm up these overhead smashes. Again, you should always be careful moving back for these things. Moving back isn't the dangerous thing, it's the falling that's the dangerous thing. So don't do anything that might hurt you. Of course, you should always warm up on the forehand and backhand side. You want to be good no matter where your opponents hit that ball. And after a little bit of this, I'll say, wait a second, after I hit that smash, there's a good chance my opponents are going to play a short ball. So I'm going to have to come up and play a dink. You can have a little bit of combo action here, the smash dink coming forward. And again, you can do this as sort of aggressively as you want early on. I'm still doing this as a pretty light version. This is right at the start of the day. Nothing wrong with a few old school arm circles and some body rotations. You know what, your body's going to kind of tell you, you're going to feel where you're a little bit stiff or a little bit looser. So do what feels good to you. Just try to keep it going and realize that you should gradually increase the range of motion. So early on, you might not move quite so much, and as you start to warm up, then you can let it go a little bit more. Driving the ball is pretty important, and you'll notice here I use different stances. Sometimes it's a closed stance or a neutral stance, and here you see me using that open stance as well. Why? Well, because that's what's going to happen in a game, right? You got to set up differently, and that's going to use different parts of your body. All right, I always feel after a long day of playing pickleball, those hips are a little bit sore. Not quite the young pup I used to be, so I'm going to do a little bit of hip flexor activation. But if you want to do this standing still, you can also work on your balance a little bit. Some of these are a bit easier to do with an aid, like a net or a wall, so you can always do that too, no problem. And then finally you think, okay, well, yeah, feeling pretty loose. Better get those wrists and those ankles ready to go. You're going to need them when you play as well. And again, look, this is only going to take a few minutes for you to get your body going. Of course, if you're really deliberate, you're going to spend more time on this. But at least a little bit, it gets you moving, some little mini jump squats there, that's fine. It is important to realize that as you go, you're going to need to sort of increase the intensity here, right? Because the movements in the warm-up are going to be a little bit slower than the movements in the game. So you do have to start to gradually increase the explosiveness, right? Whether you're moving left to right or up and back, varying the footwork, getting to those short balls that just clip off the top of the net, for example. Right? So you're going to want to use different kinds of footwork here. And again, all this you can do some visualization as well. Never a bad idea. So that's how I like to warm up and get ready. Again, this is just sort of like a physical warm-up before we start even hitting balls. You can do your own variation, of course. Whatever it is you do, do it deliberately. Make it so that you're less likely to get hurt. Go out there and have a great time.